Welcome to Punch Your Agents, the podcast where we throw punches at the real estate status quo. We're your hosts, Mike Shipman here.
And Daniel Nolan.
Join us as we dive into the world of real estate, sharing stories, insights, and expert advice on all things related to real estate.
So sit back, grab a drink, and get ready to punch your agents.
Well, let's get into it.
All right, man.
All right.
Real estate, mortgages.
That's all you needed. All right. Good afternoon. Another episode of Punch Your Agent. I'm Daniel Nolan.
Michael Shipman here.
And today we have
Ty Smith.
Ty. What's up, man?
Welcome, Ty.
Man, just, trying to sling them loans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ty, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a mortgage banker.
Right.
I'm work for a company called New American Funding. And I'm a branch manager. I own a branch. I've got several loan officers that work for me. And, I've been doing this for since 2003, so 23 years. I've been
It's
in the
funny
mortgage business.
the amount of friends that I've had that all started off with you. Like, Sean Brennan started off with you at one point. Didn't Tommy work for you at one point too? Tommy Eminette?
Tommy might have for a short period of time. I was a broker from 2003 till 2009 or so. And it was before 2008, it was pretty easy to get a license and come to work for. So if you wanted to give it a shot, it was come on.
So that's probably when Tommy got it.
Probably so. Yeah. So, yeah. My younger brother works for me or works with me. I'm sorry. He worked for me for a long time. We work together now. He started, in the dorm room at Southwest Texas, and I was handing him internet refi leads.
Yeah.
And, he closed a couple deals. You can quit the grist mill, and he did. And we've been doing it ever since. So,
yeah. You had, you text me, or I don't know, you sent me a message the other day, and you're like, I got a story for Punch Your Agent. And you were like, I once got into a fist fight at an open house. And I was like, dude, come on, tell me the story. How do you get into a fist fight at an open house?
Well, look, we got to go back. Some of these stories we told before we were.
We'll cut some in about
We'll cut some in, but look, it has a little bit to do with
we grew up in Pasadena,
where I'm
Texas.
from, and the circumstances around the time that this happened is also plays into it. So. I can get into this story. It's, I've never really told this publicly. So it's, I'm going to preface it. Look, this was 19 years ago. I was, I think, 29 or 30 years old. So this is a long time ago. And I haven't been in a fist fight since. Okay. So I don't want anybody to think I'm some kind of, person that goes around getting in fights or whatnot. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that. But to set the stage, this was in 2007. Like you said, I had a mortgage brokerage. I had probably a handful of guys working for me at the time. There's a guy, Seth Williams, that worked with me. His brother, Aaron. My little brother was there working with us at some point in there. The guy, John Heron. So I had a pretty good little mortgage brokerage going up through 2007. And then we had the meltdown. Mm-hmm. And we literally sat there and watched, 50 loans just completely melt away because the wholesale lenders that we had these loans with were just shutting their doors one after another. And this happened within a span of about 2-3 weeks, where probably hundreds of mortgage banks went out of business. So if your loan was sitting over there with them, it's just done. I mean, the phones are dead. So, hey,
They just close the doors.
They just close their doors. So, hey, I've got your client. They got, they're buying a house. I got them approved for a loan at this lender, and during the process, the lender just went out of business. So there's no loan. So it created major havoc. If you live through it, you know how it went. But what it did was it put me in a financial stressful situation, going from, hey, I'm 30 years old. I got all these guys working for me. We're making a lot of money. We're closing 30, 40 transactions a month. Things are going great, to like, the water faucet just turns off, right? So during that period of time, things were going well. I had made some investments in some different properties around town. I had bought some property in Garden Oaks, before it was blowing up. I had bought some property down in Surfside Beach. And then there was a community just coming on, brand new community, Harbor Walk, which everyone knows where that is now, over West Bay there, and they got some really nice houses. But at the time, myself and another partner of mine, we had bought some land over there, and we built a spec home there to sell it. And as you can imagine, nothing was selling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think this market is stagnant, I'm talking nothing was going on. And, I was approaching foreclosure on this property, so we were trying to figure out anything we could to get it sold. I mean, we were looking at short sale and everything else. So anyhow, somehow this particular guy, I mean, we had it advertised out there. I don't remember exactly where all we had that house advertised, but we were trying to sell it any way we could think of. And I had a guy approach me and said, hey, what we're doing is we're selling these as auctions. Like we're basically selling it like a pre-foreclosure auction. I have a huge database of potential buyers, investors that want to buy these properties, and on a short sale. And, we're going to get it out on the old interweb and all this stuff. And we're going to, do search engine optimization. And here's the deal. We're going to get, you pay me a fee up front. And I want to say that fee was about $10,000 up front. And I was pretty desperate. And he said, we're going to guarantee, and it was in writing, we will bring at least 100 potential, interested buyers through our advertising to this auction.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a live auction, and we're going to do an online auction and all this stuff. And hey, you'll probably pick up a few people on loans, even if they don't buy your house, they'll buy something, and you're going to have these, people looking in this $700,000-$800,000 range, which in 2007, that's pretty substantial size. I mean, at that point, I think the Fannie Mae loan limits were like 417 or something. So, I mean, it was, those were substantial loan sizes. So anyhow,
especially in Texas back then.
Yeah. So, this is all supposed to kick off on a Friday afternoon, I believe. And, this guy was balloons and signs and foreclosure this way and this and that and food and the whole deal. And we get there and, I get there Friday afternoon, and I'm pretty fired up. I got my little table there with my tablecloth on it, Southern Lending and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm ready to take applications, and no one shows up. Not a single person shows up. So he's like, it's Friday afternoon. We got a bunch of people replying, emails, da-da-da-da-da. We're going to have a bunch of people here tomorrow. Okay, cool. Come back Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, whatever. Sit around all day. Nobody shows up. Not a single person shows up. Damn. So I kind of start going, hey, man, can you show me exactly what you did with that $10,000. I mean, I see some balloons, some signs. I mean,
it's not $10,000
worth. $10,000 worth. And he's like, don't worry. Tomorrow's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. So we get there, and I think one like nosy neighbor came by or something, right? So we're getting ready to shut down. I'm like, this dude, I think he lived out towards San Antonio. And I was like, I'm not gonna see this guy again. Like, if I don't confront him now about this, we're probably not going to get a chance to.
You're not going to answer his phone ever again.
You're not going to answer his phone ever again. So I'm like, hey, dude, can we sit down and talk for a minute before you take off? And he's trying to get all this stuff together, and his wife's there helping him. And there's another agent there that had the house listed for me. His name is Ward Arnold. He's been around the real estate for a long time. And he still does real estate. And I don't know if he's as active as he used to be. I talk to him every once in a while. We remain friends or whatnot, but he was listing the property for me, and he was there. And anyhow, I kind of kept on this guy like, hey, dude, we really need to sit down and talk about this. He's like, I don't have to talk to you about anything, and and so on and so forth. And I'm kind of like, okay, this is, this dude's going to get out of here, and I'm not going to. I was like,
he just took your money.
Yeah, hey, dude, you can't write me a check for something like, hey, man, like a couple thousand, something.
Like it flopped. Let's go in and
it flopped. Let's help me out. He goes, I have 30 days in our contract to bring a buyer and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, but we have in our contract, you're going to have at least 100 people show up at this thing. And that was, for that money. And he's finally started getting pretty irritated with me. And I was, he's like, hey, if you don't get out of my face, then, it's going to be a bad situation. And I was like, all right, well, okay, well, let's see how bad it gets. And so I pressed it a little more and press it a little, maybe much. And because now at this point, I'm like, okay, hey, this dude really is just going to try to, burn me here, and I'm not going to ever see this 10,000. And like I said, dude, I was broke. $10,000.
You're going all in on it.
I was broke, and I was like, hey, if I could get this thing sold and get out of this, and not go into foreclosure and ruin my credit and everything, it would be a great situation, and I was desperate. Anyhow, finally the guy, we were out on the driveway, and he's loading his stuff up, and I'm trying to get to him before he gets all the stuff in the car and peels out of there, right? Finally, I get to him enough, and he just throws a haymaker at me. He just kind of turns around and just coming out, left field for me. But, and I was just like...
Slow motion.
Right? Slow motion.
George Foreman type punch.
And I was like, boom. And my first reaction was just, wham. And I just caught him. I mean, I don't know if I've ever caught anybody this flush. And not to say that, I'm some kind of great puncher or something. But the dude, I hit him, and he fell flat on his face. Like, no, just... I saw him, he just, woo, and bam, right on his face. Well, now his wife jumps on my back, like literally like a spider monkey, and she's clawing at my eyes. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. She's on my back, and I'm like, oh my God. And I look over, and Ward's just kind of like, he's just looking, dude. He's like, what is going on, dude? And I'm like, then I see the guy stand up, and he's got blood all over his face, and he's like mad, dude. He's like coming for me again. And I'm like, oh my God. So, I did, this lady's on my back, and I'm just like, kind of went over to the grass, and I just did a little roll like that and slung her off. And he comes at me again. I'm like, dude, you want it again? He's like, no, not really. I don't. Okay. I don't. And I was like, all right, I'm out of here, dude. I just like, okay. I'd been in enough situations to where I knew
it's time to go.
So I left, and I called the Galveston County. It was Galveston County. All right, let's see. We're in Hitchcock. I think I called Galveston County Police Department. I said, hey, I just got an altercation. I got assaulted. What should I do? They're like, come in. So I go in, and when he threw at me, he got me a little bit. So I had a little shiner, and that lady had scratched me here and scratched me on the back and everything else. And so I went in, they took pictures, and basically they went to go get him.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I kind of had learned at some point along the way on some other situations that, hey, the first one over there.
Absolutely.
The first one there to tell a story.
Stories usually sticks.
It sticks, right? So they went to go pick him up, and he was nowhere to be found. They gotten out of there. So, obviously if they wanted to press charges or do something on me, they would have stuck around, right?
Yeah.
They were gone. Never heard from the guy again. I did have his address. This was pretty close to Christmas. This was like in the fall. I'm going to say around October or something. Christmas came around. I sent him a Christmas card. Hey, so-and-so. Just because I knew his address or whatever. And he was like, he called Ward and he goes, hey, Ty sent me a Christmas card. He goes, do you think, why did he do that? And Ward was like,
Psychological warfare.
I don't know. Anyways, years passed by. 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's now 2012. I mean, the markets came back. Everything's great. I long forgot about this $10,000 and it's not non-issue or whatever, and long forgot about this guy. And I get a phone call from Galveston County Police Department or Galveston County Sheriff's Department or whatever, the constables, and they're like, "Hey, we've got a guy here, so and so. I'm not going to say this guy's name, and I'm sure I don't know. Yeah, it was tough times for everybody. Everybody's trying to do what they can to survive, but whatever. Yeah. So, they call me. They go, "Hey, we have this guy, so and so. We picked him up in just outside of San Antonio for a speeding ticket, and we brought him back to Galveston County Jail." I was like, "Do you want to press charges on him?" I go, "No, dude." I was like, that guy's, if y'all took him all the way back to Galveston County, I was like, I got a good shot in on him. I hauled him all the way back over there. That 10,000's long gone.
Yeah.
Dude, I think he got his.
He learned his lesson, probably.
I think he learned his lesson and he got his. And so, yeah, talking about punching your agent. I mean, that's the craziest story I've ever been involved with. And it was, I was kind of like at the time, I can just, now that I'm rethinking or reliving that memory or whatever, and I can remember like driving to the police department, I was shaking, dude. I was like, it was just
adrenaline.
And I got there, and at the end of the day, like it wasn't necessary, but as soon as I hadn't gone, he would have gone over there, and then they would have been looking for me,
right,
and
exactly.
so it was like, and I kind of had been in that situation before, so anyways, it was just when I saw this podcast, like punch your agent, I was like, oh yeah, punch the agent, man. That's
And that's a clear case of self-defense. I mean, he swung at you. So, I mean, it's like, dude, at that point, you don't know what the other person has on them or whatever. So, I mean, he's lucky that's all you did was just, give him a nice little sticking.
Yeah, it was one of those things. And
yeah, man.
Afterwards, Ward kind of goes, well, Ward was kind of a big dude. He worked out a lot. We used to go in the gym a lot and stuff. And he was kind of like, he goes, did you hit him? I go, yeah. He goes, well, man, I didn't even see it. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I hit him. I mean,
that's why he's on the ground.
I've been to a couple of fights. I hit him. I was
Reflexes of a puma.
I was like, got him. So, anyways, it was a wild little story, and
that's pretty wild, man.
It was So relive that was interesting. So maybe Ward will vouch for it. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it out there. He'll find this clip.
No, man, that's hysterical, dude. Like that is that is one of the. Just sounds like you're from Pasadena, like
That's a get down, Dina.
So man, we used to back in the day when I was in bands. I remember the first time I go record at the recording studio when I was in college, and I was getting ready. I'm starting to work. I'm working there eventually, and the dude that ran the studio, my buddy Marco. Every time we'd come in with like the Pasadena folk, whether it's like Charlie Carlisle, Mike, Frank, whatever, and he was just like, all y'all, he goes, and he's from like San Marcos. And he's just like, dude, all y'all are so different. He goes, every one of your friends from Pasadena, he goes, I love them. They all crack me up. But he's like, y'all are just a little different. I'm like, it must be like the chemicals that are coming in from, you know what I mean? Yep. We're all a little different,
Yeah.
Pasadena, I don't know how it is now, because obviously, I mean, I don't, haven't lived there.
You're still wanted. You can't go back.
No, my parents live there.
I
My parents live there. I go see them all the time, but I don't, I don't know if it's the same type of culture. I mean, look, we lived there when you still knew about Gillies. You still knew about Urban Cowboy. You still kind of had that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You still had, the guys running around in the big jacked up old trucks there was it was kind of like, I feel like in that period there, I don't know. I mean, of course there's better places to grow up as far as like, being like, more affluent or something. But as far as like having a connection of people like that, I like everywhere I go I still have good friends from high school and stuff. And I think a lot of people do. And a lot of people I've met don't still talk to people from high school and stuff. They don't have any connections or whatever, Yeah. And I just think it was just the way we were then. It was, I don't know. It's kind of a ride or die types of friendships, man. There was a lot of people that you could, when you got more than a handful of people that you could literally call up at 2 a.m. and go, hey man, I got to go.
I'm in trouble or whatever.
Got to do this. And you've got a dozen people you could call and they would come handle up. I mean, not many people have that. I mean, and I think anybody that's from there kind of knows and grew up there, they have those types of relationships, those types of friends. Like, a lot of them do.
Like we all been friends for like 30 plus years, almost 40 years,
Me and Ty were friends I think in 8th grade when I first met you.
Sure.
Like we would like run around and like play like tag crap and like run around the whole school and like try to chase each other, which Ty could catch me. But I would try,
My crippled ass can catch you.
Dude, yeah. You're a whole... Mike's been through all kinds of beat up. Like he's I don't know. You got paralyzed or whatever.
I was in a wheelchair for 2 years, artificial hip, knee, and femur, all reconstructed.
What happened?
Car wreck.
Car wreck,
it wasn't even like a crash to another car. I just had enlisted in the Army when Desert Storm was first popping off. I had nothing going on in my life, and I was like, you know what?
Still don't.
Right? Unfortunately.
Like the first Desert Storm.
Yeah.
George Bush Sr.'s Desert Storm.
I think.
Or
I'm 52. Yeah. So I was 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
So my friends took me on a hunting trip in San Isidro by McAllen.
Okay.
And I'm on my friend's family's ranch, and they're related to Emilio Zapata. So I'm on their 2,000 acre ranch, and we're shooting guns, letting our pit bulls hunt javelinas and shit. And it was our last weekend there. And long story short, it was nighttime. We're in a Chevy Lumina van. and my buddy's driving. It's nighttime, and it's hill country up there. So front wheel drive van, and we have like 30 guns fully loaded in the back, man. And we come up on this hill, and I'm sitting in the back seat. My friend's driving, my other buddy sitting, passenger, and I'm not wearing a seatbelt because we're out in the country, And once the van gets to the top of the hill, the front wheels were spinning, and once it grabbed solid ground, it jerked us to the side and went over like this hill, and we started just flipping. And my body's, I had no seat belt, so my body's getting ragdolled inside of a van.
Yeah.
And I got launched out, hit a tree. They said they projected that I was probably like 20 feet in the air. I hit the tree, and then when I landed, my left femur shattered my hip, blew my kneecap out, and I broke my right femur backwards. I'm waking up.
That kind of stuff makes me scream.
Man. And
thinking about that.
Yeah, man. So I'm not going to give you the gory details of what I saw, but my friend said that, I tried standing up like 10 times where my femur was broke, my leg would fold over and I'd fall down. And like I said, that's not the screamiest part. Yeah. So I don't remember none of that. I guess my body was in shock, trying to get up. And next thing I know, I open my eyes, man. My buddy's like, he was like, dude, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. And this is before cell phones. So this old this hunter was on a 4-wheeler. He heard the wreck, and he thought everyone died. My buddy hitchhiked a ride with this old farmer man driving a truck to go back to the ranch to tell his dad what happened. And my friend stayed with me. And this is wintertime, so it's like 20 degrees outside, man.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, this helicopter's flying above us with a spotlight. Couldn't see me because we're in the woods. My buddy grabbed me, dragged me to an open field, and the helicopter finally saw us, landed, and next thing I know, they're cutting my clothes off, and I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm just in and out of consciousness. I kept looking at my leg, dude, and like, I'm not going to tell you the details. I was like, I pass out. I wake up, see my leg again, pass out.
God, terrible.
Yeah, so they said I'd never walk again, man, and I was in a wheelchair for 2 years, and finally I went from a wheelchair to crutches to a cane to nothing, and I just didn't want to accept the wheelchair, so I was like, yeah, that's not for me, man.
It's amazing what your body can do to heal itself.
Yeah, your mind too, man.
Your mind and your body.
Yeah,
staying immobile, just staying injured.
Yeah, some people accept it. It's like,
you gotta. Yeah, if you work through it, every time I've had any kind of injury, if find myself just like completely being immobile, it doesn't. Your body won't heal itself like that. You gotta work through it.
Yeah.
So if you do, I think it's definitely your mind first, but your body will adapt to that stuff, or it will react to movement and stuff, but much more than just laying up.
Yeah, not trying.
Not trying. I think. Yeah. So,
And,
So,
all right, I got a question for you, Ty. Where do you think rates land for the back half of 2026?
nice transition.
I think they stay flat. I don't see if we can keep inflation. Okay, look, inflation numbers just came out. CPI just came out, lower than expected by I think 0.4 or 0.04 of a percent or whatever. That helped. Okay, it stabilized, but I don't think people quite understand what actually moves rates. I mean, do you guys understand specifically what makes those rates move?
I'll be honest and say I don't.
Yeah. So it has nothing to do with the Fed funds rate, right? So that's what's always in the news, right? So you have the Fed meeting, and they come out and, hey, we're going to lower rates 0.25%, or hey, we're going to raise rates 0.25%, or we're going to leave them the same, right? Over a long stretch, that does have some effect because that's going to kind of set the tone overall for interest rates. But what's going to drive long-term interest rates down is that people have to, or the Fed has to go out and purchase. Either the Fed has to do it, or governments across the nation or whatever have to go out and actually purchase mortgage-backed securities or treasuries. And they have to do it. And so that artificially will lower interest rates. That's what happened during COVID. They came in and they spent, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe even towards $1 trillion in buying mortgage-backed securities, because they knew, hey, if we don't, then we have to do that to stimulate this. My opinion is they might have overdone it a little bit. They could have, I think if rates would have, rates got down in like the 2s, right?
Wow. Yeah,
I mean, people could get in the twos, on a fixed rate.
30, my beach house is 2.85.
Right. If they would have just got it down,
a secondary house
in the fours, high threes, I think that we would have still had a very healthy real estate market. But I don't think we would have had quite this spike. And then, me personally, we made a lot of money there in that period of time. But then the fallout afterwards, that's been from end of 2022, 2023 till now, has, I personally would love to see a slow, steady growth, market, but it doesn't work that way, does it? Does it always seem feast or famine?
Right.
I mean, there's still a market out there. There's still deals, there is. I mean, there's still people doing really well. And so you can't just, wait around on rates to get better, to do whatever. I mean, there's still a market there. There's still opportunities. I just think that, I don't see the Fed having any kind of policy that's going to actually drive down those rates in the last half of this year. I don't see the Fed fund rate getting changed much. I would, if I were betting, if I were on, poly market and going to bet on, is the Fed going to lower or raise or lower rates? I would say they weren't going to do either one through the end of the year. I don't think they're going to do anything. So I don't think you're going to see rates move much. So, but that's okay, because I think buyers want predictability. No one wants to go buy a house and, and then all of a sudden, rates go way up and then your value goes down in a year. Or, hey, it'd be, if you buy one and then rates go down, that's the best situation, right? Because then prices will probably go up and then you could refinance, right? But no one knows exactly, no one has a crystal ball. So I would say my prediction, though, would be stays pretty flat through this year. And if we can see inflation start to level off and get back to a place where we were starting to get to earlier in this year, and we can get back to that 2% of inflation annually that the Fed wants to see, then I think we will start to see rates creep back into the high to mid fives. And I think we get to high to mid fives by next year. Then I think 2027 could be a really good year.
I mean, that was the kind of what everyone kind of thought this summer was going to be like.
2026 was shaping up well, guys.
It dropped a point,
right at the beginning of February. It was shaping up so nicely. And then, we had to go do this thing over in Iran. I don't want to get into political talk or what my opinion is on that. I just know this. It hurt interest rates.
Man, it hurt. Like
it hurt interest rates.
Yeah. I mean, you have 84% of agents have not sold a house yet this year.
Yeah,
that's a shitload, man. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and Mike's only like 2 years in, so when he got in, all of a sudden he has buddies like a probate attorney. He was just giving them deals. And then, man, it's been slow for me. It's slow for Mike. And I mean, I've done this. I'm almost 14 years in, and this is like one of the worst summers I've had, ever. Yeah. Where I'm just like, oh crap.
Well, so are people not getting divorces anymore? I mean,
probably can't afford to.
I mean, a probate attorney is actually probably, if I was a real estate agent, I would try to have as many probate attorneys in my pocket as I possibly could, or I'd be in, their pocket. Or
shout out Sean Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's, you're talking about something that doesn't matter what the market is. I mean, you get a divorce and somebody wants the money and there's a transaction there.
I think, one of the biggest problems is just getting the house to move, and I don't care what all these other agents say. It's like, oh, it's the price. It's not the price. Cause we even had Randall Martin on, and Randall's like, dude, I had this house listed for about a year. And he goes, it took a year and then they got their money. It's just a matter of someone going to see that house that actually likes it, that's going to pay for it. Because sometimes, man, if you're just trying to drop prices, like if you're not that great of an agent and all you're going to do is tell your person you need to drop price, if they need to dump the house, then that's what you got to do. But one of the problems that happens is there's still no one there. So like if I drop it another 15,000, is there someone in that next group? That's the problem, man. There's not a bunch of people especially if you're trying to buy a house in Galveston, there's not a bunch of buyers right now. I mean, it's not the market that we've had the whole time I've been in real estate.
No one wants to be a bag holder. Nobody wants to buy a house and then, for $600,000 and next year it'd be worth $500,000.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that, right? I think that's some of the fear.
Yeah.
For the people like, hey, I'm going to wait. People keep saying I'm going to wait on this market to crash or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And if you look at the chart, as far as where prices are, what's the best case scenario right now, in my opinion? I mean, it's done this number. Okay, so we had, you had obviously the big pullback in 2008, right? It came here, and then we did a really quick, went up, and let me tell you this: in 2006 and 2007, nobody was telling me that a crash is coming.
Yeah,
you don't know when it's coming, and no one's ever going to tell you. Well,
they've been telling you for it's going to happen since I've been in year one, it's like when we were writing, I was at Intero back in the day, like in Rice Village or whatever, and like a whole area, and we're writing oh, you're going to go, 50,000 over wave appraisal. You're going to go 100,000 over wave appraisal.
Yeah.
And oh, it's going to crash now. No, it didn't. It just kept on going up and going up.
Right.
And it's not that house values have even really dropped right now, at least in our area. But what's happened is you'll have those ones where they have to, I have to sell it, just take that number. And that's some of the stuff that's getting sold, you know?
Well, yes. So, I mean, if anyone remembers the crash, 2007 and 8, they know how that market went and how fast it came back. But also, it came back very fast. Right now, it's kind of gone let's say, so this is 2007, 6, 7, boom. Okay, now we're in 8. Okay, now 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up here, right? Now we're up here, and the best thing I think can happen right now is to stay flat for a little while. And I think everybody can deal with that. A flat is, everybody can deal with it. Hey, I'm going to buy a house. It's long-term. If it, and then that will allow maybe it to catch up a little bit, allow wages to catch up a little bit, things like that. It could also, I don't see it going here. We're kind of here. I can see it pulling back. I can see it going sideways. I don't see it going up again, right? So I think predictability will help the market.
Yeah.
I don't think rates have to get back down in the 4s. I think rates have to stay in the range they're in right now. And if you could just get a little bit better, in the 5s, and prices could just kind of stabilize. And people would say, hey, look, there's kind of a, look, you can look at it you could look at it like patterns in the stock market, okay? We're creating a bull flag. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but, it's kind of hey, a stock goes up, and then it kind of goes sideways for quite a while, and then all of a sudden, there's a catalyst that hits, and boom, it goes back up again. But it doesn't come back down, it just kind of goes sideways, and that creates a little flag, right? So does all markets kind of work off of patterns to a degree? And so if it went sideways let's say if it went sideways for 2 or 3 years, you would still have a decent market. You could still make money in the market. You could still make money as an agent. You could still, if people could just get their confidence that it's not going to crash.
Yeah.
And hey, I've got to buy a house. I got to live somewhere. I mean, you don't want to rent, don't want to buy. I mean, and the closer we can get to, mortgage payments being equal to rent payments.
Yeah.
That also helps a lot. And I think I think it's still, if you're going to rent a $300,000, let's say there's, let's say 350. 350 would probably be a good, price point to look at. If you're going to buy a 350 house or you're going to rent a 350 house, what's a $350,000 house rent for right now? $3,000, $2,800,
roughly in that. Probably 28 to 32, depending where you're at.
So you could get a mortgage payment for roughly with really low money down on an FHA loan. Okay. I think one thing that people aren't utilizing, I think instead of trying to negotiate a price, agents should be trying to negotiate a 2-1 buy down for people to get into that house, to get that payment down to where, I can come out of pocket 3.5% on an FHA loan, do a 2-1 buy down, get that rate down into, around 5% in that first 2 years, which would bring that payment very close to where the rent payment would be. And now you can justify it. And I would rather own than rent.
Right.
Yeah.
I really would, all things equal. You're
paying 100% interest, and a lot of times you're paying someone's mortgage.
Yeah. And so, even on a 30-year mortgage, even if you're paying a lot of interest, you're still paying some principal. And you're getting tax benefits.
No, I'm saying if you're renting, you're 100% interest.
Yeah, if you're renting, you're not gaining anything. So, I think people's confidence will start to come back a little bit. If we could get past this whole thing in Iran quickly, price of oil's back in line. That's good. So that's going to help inflation. you know, that's going to help inflation. That's going to, you know, it's CPI is going to be the biggest thing to watch, and employment numbers. Right now, you should be rooting for a little more unemployment. Okay, because if the economy's growing and we're creating a lot of jobs, Fed's not going to lower the rates at all, right? So, and you know, I know I said, hey, the Fed dropping the rate doesn't have a immediate impact on like mortgage rates a lot of times, but overall, it still lowers cost of money. It still lowers interest rates over time. You know, right now the market's working like in this particular. It's weird, right? You would think employment numbers, if we were creating a lot of jobs, you would think that would like help the markets, like help the stock market, all right? But when you see big job numbers come in, we go create, you know, it says, hey, they think we're going to create 75,000 jobs. We create 125,000. Trump gets up, yay. Okay, the stock market pulls back. Mm-hmm. Why? I mean, you should say job creation's good.
Yeah.
Well, the stock market pulls back because they're not going to lower, the Fed's not going to lower the rate when we're creating jobs. So if they say, hey, 75,000 jobs are going to get created next month, and when we create, like they did last month, like 20-something thousand or 50,000 jobs, what's well under the expectations. Okay, now all of a sudden you're going to see the stock market do well because only on one premonition, and that's like the Fed's going to lower the rate. Yeah. So when the Fed lowers the rate, that helps big corporations. That's who it helps, because that's the ones that are basically, that's just money getting borrowed from one bank to another bank overnight. So if I'm, you know, Chase and I need to borrow, you know, $8 billion to meet my reserves, I can go borrow it from Wells Fargo for this amount, and I'm going to borrow it for one night and then pay them right back, right? That's what I call the overnight rate. So, you know, when that becomes cheaper, you got to think 0.25% on billions of dollars is a lot of money, right? So that's what the market moves weird, in a sense that not always good news makes the market move in the right direction. Bad news, actually right now, bad news in the economy would help us
for what we do. Yeah.
For what we do, right?
Which is weird because it's less people with jobs, and yet we're going to put them in homes, the other people that have the jobs.
Yeah, but we're at like, what's the employment rate, like 4%? So what if it went to 6%? I mean, I don't know. What would that do? Would that create it to where would that be so bad that now all of a sudden we don't have enough people with jobs to buy a house? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it would be so if unemployment would go from 4% to 6%, I don't know exactly what would happen, but I guarantee you the Fed would be coming in and dropping rates.
Yeah,
and they would be trying to stimulate the economy. But when the economy's hot and we're creating jobs, then they're not going to do anything to help stimulate or lower interest rates.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the problem. It
depends what side you're looking at.
You can't have both. They're not going to lower interest rates and have a hot economy. They're not going to lower interest rates until the economy cools off.
Yeah.
So,
but so many people right now are having a hard time in the current economy. So, you know, and that's like not trying to go political. I'm just saying, like, everything costs so much. Inflation costs so high. Like
food, cost of living, food.
Well, I think that's one reason so many people are scared to go buy a house right now, because you don't know how much something's going to cost tomorrow.
No, you don't. And insurance costs have gone up.
Stupid,
And you know, your property taxes have gone up. You know, you've got, all your costs. I mean, dude, I can't even imagine if you had 2 kids and you had to feed them all the time, what that would cost. I don't have kids, so I don't know, but
I'll text you my numbers.
What is it? You know, I don't know. I go to my brother's house and they got this pantry full of all this stuff, and I'm going, dude, your food bill's got to be at least $1,000 a month.
I cook for those 2 big, or my 3 dogs, but those 2 pit bulls, man. I cook for those dogs 3 times a week. It's like having kids, man. Like, dude, those dogs can put away like those chicken snacks. It's $50 a bag. They go through almost 2 of those a week. That's $100 a week.
That's $400 a month.
Yeah,
but no, like with
crazy,
us,
man.
with the kids, like we try to be the hub. Like we have the house with the pool, the big backyard, all that stuff. So all the kids come to our house. You know, that's what we want. That's what we've always wanted to set up. You know,
right.
So we know all their friends, but like, we always have to have food there. I mean, the other night, like Addie comes in, like, hey, I'm ordering Chick-fil-A. Like 2 of their friends were like, okay. And they're like, and then I looked at my DoorDash thing. It was like $75. I was like, for 4 of y'all? Like,
dude.
It's like, dude,
what happened
so
to 59-cent tacos at Taco Bell?
59, 69,
Checkers,
79.
39-cent burgers.
Go down there,
Dude.
Yeah. No, it's.
I miss Checkers.
Sizzling quick.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My biggest, as far as like fast food's concerned, Whataburger is my biggest. That's the one that I have to watch out for. And
that's my kryptonite, man.
I really cut it out. I don't think I've had a Whataburger in 6 months, so I've done really
I had
well
it
with
yesterday.
That. But dude, it was $12, dude, to go get a Whataburger, meal, Whatameal or whatever.
It's easy.
I
got a number one yesterday. Just a Whataburger with jalapenos, dude. And it's like $14 just for that, fries and a drink. I was like, God dang, dude.
I mean,
but damn, it's good.
It is good. It is good.
Oh man,
it is good. A lot of those Europeans that came over here, they got to get introduced to what they got.
That was awesome.
What they get introduced to? Whataburger,
Chick-fil-A.
I mean, these people
barbecue,
are like,
brisket. What is that?
Hey, I ran into 2 English guys in League City. I was at somehow happened into Molly's Pub there, right off 518, close to 45 there. Met this father son that were here watching the games in Houston at NRG and English guys and. Yeah, and I had been seeing all this stuff on YouTube, how much they're enjoying coming, the World Cup being here in the United States. I don't think people realized how enjoyable it was going to be.
Because the media,
a lot of people came in. Well, do you know how many more people watched the final World Cup game versus the Super Bowl? Worldwide?
Well, it's like 1 point. It was like let's see. It was let's see. How many people on Earth? What is it?
I don't know, but I can tell you the number.
Tell me the number because it was
1.3 billion.
Okay, 1.3 billion compared to like 300 million
to the Super Bowl or whatever.
Because soccer or football is a world sport. And American football, just mostly Americans watching it. But
well,
that was a crazy stat.
I don't know what's going to happen after this. I have a feeling. I saw I saw an article in the New York Times, and it was a editorial piece or whatever, an opinion piece, whatever. But I kind of can relate to this, but as the studies go on and more people allow their brains to be examined after death with CTE.
Mm-hmm.
You're having more and more former football players say, hey, my kids aren't going to play football. You're seeing more prominent like flag football, but once it goes to flag football, when nobody's getting hit, is it that much fun to watch?
Right.
It was fun to play when I was in my 30s and stuff. I'd join a league. I was it's fun.
But what's fun to watch? Fun to watch is to get people blasted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and look, the rules are getting more to where they're kind of, they're slowly but surely making it more safe and everything else. And
it's like South Park where they hug.
But I think, there's people come out and said, like a Brett Favre. Let's see, who else was it I read the other day? Oh man, I know he's one of the main ones. But there's some prominent NFL football players that said, hey, look, I'm not going to encourage my kids to play. If they want to go play, I'm not going to but I'm not going to encourage it. And some of them flat out said, Terry Bradshaw even, hey, I wouldn't let my kids or now my grandkids, I wouldn't want them to play football. So do these kids start to gravitate over to soccer?
Right.
I don't know. But it got me interested. It got me looking into it. It got me on Facebook wondering okay, why do we get to that number 16 and then we get just blasted? What's the difference between our system and their system over there? And what I learned is just man, over there, it's, we have this pay to play thing over here.
Yes.
You're experiencing it, right?
Yeah.
Your daughter plays.
Yeah, we got back from Orlando. Well, she plays volleyball, but the other one plays soccer. So yeah.
Okay. Well, who's the best athletes typically? Well, let's put it this way. I saw a thing the other day on there was a coach talking to these kids about playing football, and he goes, "Did you have a 2-car garage, a 1-car garage, or no garage at your house growing up?" And if they said, "Well, I had a 2-car garage," he's like, "Well, you're probably not going to make the NFL." You had a 1-car garage. He goes, "You might." You had no car garage. You're the guys that make it. It's
hungry.
Hungry is the guy. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it's the people
the more lavish lifestyle you live, the less you're hey
man, if your parents have enough money for you to go out and play and pay $1,500, $2,000 a month, 20-something thousand dollars a year to go play a sport. And that's what it costs you to play. How many kids can do that? I mean, how many kids is that cut out, right? And who's I mean,
dude,
man,
the way they make it.
Who are the dogs, man? Who are the dogs?
Yeah.
It's not, look, I love my niece and nephew. They live in Friendswood. They live in a nice place.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been considered, in my growing up, if I met those kids, they would have been considered ultra rich kids.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't have even probably been allowed to hang out with them because we wouldn't have even been in the same circles.
Yeah.
They ain't the dogs. I love them, but
No,
not,
what?
You know what I'm saying? They're not. I mean, the ones that have to get in there and scrap every day and they're like, want to get out of wherever they're at and they're going to fight and they have to fight every day and they got to go in there, man. And I know those types of guys. I played football with them in junior college. You know, the guys that, dude, they were not that I knew in the locker room. Don't talk shit to these dudes. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like
look at UFC fighters, man.
Yeah.
Those guys, those athletes.
So when you cut those guys out, I mean, then we don't have those guys on they're going to football. I mean, because I'll say this, if you don't, the skill for soccer, I think I played when I was younger. If you're not in there learning to dribble, like that ball's not becoming a part of your foot.
Yep.
When you're a kid, and that's not what y'all do for your free time, you know, like those kids are out there, you know, you go visit South American countries or whatever. They've got soccer fields all over the place. Those kids are out there playing all day. It's what they do. It's just like it's what they do. Then you won't ever get there. I can teach a guy that's super fast how to play football way easier than I can teach him how to play soccer. I get that. I get that argument. Like, you don't have to make that argument to me. But if we ever get those kids started at an early age and get that level of athleticism and the numbers that we have here started early, I think we would dominate that. And I don't know.
I think you'd have to get rid of the pay to play. That would be one. Well,
you're
going
to have some. Well, what happens in England? What happens is you have or just Europe, not England, but Europe. You have people with money come in and sponsor these teams, so those kids don't have to play.
Yeah, they don't have to pay.
They don't have. Yeah, they don't have to pay.
That's awesome.
And it's weird because, like, instead of the player moving up through these ranks, and they've got this pyramid that I looked at. I don't know how we got on the subject, but I did tell you guys I was sorry about this soccer thing.
It's all good, man.
And anyways, I mean, you look at, they got a pyramid, right? And so here the player moves up, right? The team is always wherever it is. You as a player move up through the ranks and get better and better. There, like, the team moves up. So you have to do it as a team and go up. And I think if, like, one of these players do get picked off by one of these other higher teams, they got to pay that lower team money to get them, not the person. They pay the team, so it always is funded, right? Yeah. It's a very interesting concept to me, and then it opened my eyes. Like, that's why they
get the opportunity.
Well, they're just
it's regulation over there. We're starting in the higher sports, but
it's more of a you know, baseball's a pastime here. I mean, soccer's a pastime over there.
Yeah,
you know. But hey, when as a sports fan, I like to win. I like to see our guys win. I was more into it this time than I'd ever been. I watched all the games pretty much. Yeah. I'm going to watch the game Saturday. Sunday I watched the game Argentina and England. What was that yesterday before?
Yeah, they let that game go, dude.
You know, look, when a football team gets ahead or even a basketball team gets ahead, right? Like we watched San Antonio get way out on the Knicks during the finals.
Every game.
And then they start playing like they play a prevent defense, right? And they did. That's what England did. They got out, they scored. They were actually like attacking and keeping Argentina on their heels a little bit. Once they fell back into this, hey, let's get all 11 players or all 10 players plus the goalie down on you know, and just defend our goal. And play like a prevent type of defense of play, which I don't have all the terminology for soccer. I don't know it well enough at this point, but I'm learning and I'm interested in it. But it seems to me that's what happened. And then they let them hang around down there too much. And if you let those guys hang around, you know, Messi's going to get
world-class athletes.
And that one guy set Messi off. And I don't know how many clips y'all seen of that. But it was interesting to me. I don't know what they argued about, but he kind of did that like, okay, Okay.
I told him he's old and washed up.
He's like, okay, motherfucker.
I got a little left.
We got a little left, and he did. He didn't score, but he set both of them up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Anyways,
So
all
yeah,
right.
that's where rates are going to be at next year.
It's all based on soccer, right? All right, Ty, give me an example of like something someone's done that's really stupid right before they're about to close on their house.
Well, let's see. I mean, you have the typical stuff where somebody might go out and buy a car or something like that, and it goes on their credit, and But look, I've done this long enough to where I've had these talks with people that don't do that. Obviously, right?
Don't do anything. Yeah,
don't do.
Call
anything.
your lender before you do anything.
And I can't think. I mean, of an instance specifically with that. The biggest one that comes to mind. One time, I had a couple that were they were buying the house. We were going into closing. We had verified their funds for closing. I don't remember what it was. It's just whatever. Let's just say it was $50,000. And we had verified it. They had it. We got the account statement over. It was clear to close. We got ready for them to show up, and they spent the money on furniture. But
like all the money on furniture?
I mean, okay, they needed $50,000 to close. Mm-hmm. That's what let's just say it's a $500,000 deal. They're putting 10% down, all right? And we need $50,000 to close. Well, they went and spent 25 of it. So, and then they were like, "Well,
we still want to buy the house.
We still want to buy the house." I'm like, "Okay, but like, I went over the estimate with you guys like numerous times. Y'all knew you needed." 50,000 plus closing, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We needed 50,000 to close. Y'all knew that. We went over that. What in your mind makes you think you can now close with 25,000?
Right.
And and then they yelled at my processor, and I had to get on the phone with them. And hey, dude, you guys are dumb.
Yeah, man.
And of course, we got to the finish line or whatever, but it's just like, dude, like, and that's a recent one.
Go back and redo everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at that point they barely qualified because I think they needed like 10% to make it, so then we're jumping through hoops and then of course, dude,
you can lose a deal during that time frame because the person they're buying the house could be not want to sell to them anymore.
Well, then you got, we all, in this buck stop with us, the agent's looking at us going, hey, why aren't we closing on time? And it's like, well, because these people went and spent their money and like, well, so what? Fix it.
They spent more than I could fix.
Yeah. Can you buy us an extra week so I can get it back through? No, we can't do that. We can't extend that contract. No, we're not gonna do that. So, that's the worst one. I haven't had too many people do really, really, just detrimental stuff that killed deals. Usually have a really good, rapport with them and understanding and everything.
Yeah.
It's not.
How do you feel on like wires versus like, and still today, like, are you still cool with like down payment as a wire? Because, for a while we were getting all that fraud stuff for a while was happening. So nowadays, versus like people always ask me personally, like, hey, would you just bring a cashier's check or a wire? I'm like, I'll just grab a cashier's check because I can go right to my bank and then hand it right to the title company and then I'm done, Yeah. Like I don't worry about the.
Yeah. I remember when we had those issues, I don't have an opinion either way. If it's me, I'm wiring the money because I'm just not. I can wire money from my account online. So if it's me personally buying that house, I'm dang sure going to know I got the correct wiring instructions.
Yeah, I mean, we can't put it in the back any of MLS anymore, and that's what used to happen. They would get it, and I remember like Sean told me one time that he had a deal where the down payment is probably when he was working with you too.
No, he had one. I remember he did have
$100,000.
Yeah, they wired it to the wrong place. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it all went, that was it.
Look, I don't know. I mean, you've got to know where you're sending your money. I don't have a preference. It doesn't, typically, I can tell you this, most of my clients wire funds.
Okay.
We wire funds.
Oh yeah, I know. But y'all are straight to the title company, less chance of someone, y'all know.
Yeah.
A lot of these people don't know, and so when they would get a bad information for a while and the way they were hacking the system, but now that we can't put it back there,
so
it's
what
a lot
was it?
safer.
It was a phishing thing where they would figure out that you were under contract to buy a house, right? And so then they would.
Well, they would go into MLS, like let's say they were, they knew someone that was either a realtor or a home inspector, whatever. They'd give them access. They'd say, oh, Ty Smith is buying this house with Stewart Title in, Galveston.
Okay.
And they would send you an email
saying we are Stewart Title.
Yes. And
here's
then
our
wire instructions. And then you go to the bank, you send it, boom. You didn't verify anything.
Yeah. Huh. They, what do they call that? Fishing, spear fishing. If you're getting real technical there, I mean, you're very much, targeting somebody on a very specific thing. So what did you say? How did they cut that out? What did they do?
We can't put that info in the back anymore.
What do you mean? You can't put who the buyer is in?
We can't put the title company information anymore.
The title company
so if
information.
when you're now, you have to actually call me and I tell you what title company that we're using on my listings.
Okay, so it doesn't show up in the listing anymore.
Yep.
Okay, got you.
So I mean, I'm sure.
What about after it closes? On a closed transaction, you put it in there then, or just never?
Nah, there's no need. Anyone needs to know what the title company was.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, there's no need. Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's not in there.
Okay.
The only thing we put in there is whether it was like a cash deal. This way, an appraiser will know whether to use it or not.
Right. Did that should have resolved the problem because I haven't heard much about it.
Yeah, I haven't either. But for some reason, man, I get asked that question all the time, and I bring up that example from Sean all the time. And I'm just like, look, you're probably fine.
Yeah, I remember when that happened to Sean. We were at Envoy Mortgage, I believe. Yeah. And I remember when that happened, and that was right during that period of time where people were doing that, and man, these guys that are scammers are pretty smart. I mean, it's a pretty slick idea.
Yeah.
I mean, how I got to do is like figure out this person's on Facebook saying, I'm buying a house. Then they say, oh, here's the house. And they go in MLS, say, oh, who's the title company? Somebody figured that out.
Yeah.
And then they send them an email.
Just find out what house you're buying. Go online.
What house you're buying. Reference the address, right?
And you have your agents. Hey, your agent, blah blah blah, said you have both agents or info on the back of the MLS.
That would fool a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine they put that energy into finding a job.
But I mean, dang. I mean, it's like how long? I mean, that
$100,000.
$100,000, and that wouldn't take much energy to figure that out, honestly. Especially now with all the data that you can get your hands on. Probably go get a cashier's check.
Yeah, that's what I always tell everyone to do. Just, that one enough.
Changed my mind on that one.
That one's always stuck in my head, man. Sean telling me that deal.
Yeah.
And I think it was around one of the times I was buying one of my other houses, and Sean, you were basically doing my loans back then, and it was just like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I do remember that when that happened. That was a terrible situation. Yeah. What happened? Did they get their money back or what?
From what I understand, I don't think they did.
Sean, let us know.
Yeah.
Chime in here.
Yeah. We'll call him real quick. All right, let's shove a couple more questions here real quick and let's get on with this day.
Most only in Texas moment in 20 years you've experienced.
Ty punching someone at an open house.
That's pretty Texas.
What do you mean by most only Texas? Like, hey, I walk in and there's a rattlesnake in
that could be
in the kitchen or something.
Fighting an armadillo.
Oh man, I don't. You know what? I don't know that. Let's see here. A Texas moment that. Shoot, guys, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. I think that'd be a better realtor question.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, you don't see as much.
We don't see as much stuff, so I don't think I can't. Let me look. We can come back to that one. Let me think on it, but I can't think of anything.
All right, let's try this one. Worst thing a buyer said to you, not realizing it tanked their approval.
Let's see. Okay. Hey, I've got one right now. We got one under contract. Me and another agent and. This particular buyer she's an engineer and very, very smart. Basically, she had cash for her down payment and everything, but then she wanted a little extra money, and she was going to get a gift. And I typically don't do this, but I kind of assume that gift would just like come from her parents or something. And, the agent was writing the contract, and the agent was smart enough to call me, and she goes, the girl goes, hey, she goes, you're going to get a gift. What is that? Yeah, it's cash. It's mattress money. And, we were able to make the deal work.
Yeah.
Because I knew ahead of time, but actually the agent picked up on it and knew that was a red flag, and it would have killed the deal.
It has to be seasoned so long.
It's got to be seasoned, and we are going to season it and all that stuff, and that's good. But yeah, that one would have killed it. And that was, so I'm not saying she said something that killed the deal, but she said something that actually kind of saved it, but it would have killed it had she not said something. As far as like somebody saying, look, dude, we're not Bank of America. I mean, if you tell me something, I'm going to figure out how to fix it. It's not going to kill the deal. Okay. I'm going to go, hey, hang on a second. Let's make it work.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that keep cash. Like there's a lot of people. Because when I worked at the bank back in the day, I worked at Capital One for years, the amount of people that would either take money out sometimes or just, they would come in and just take out right under the amount. So you wouldn't have to let the government know that they're pulling out. I think it was $10,000 a day or something at the time.
$9,999.
Yeah. But I mean, and like it always happened during when there was a new president coming in and that person didn't like who was going. We're all going to hell. It's all going to go to crap. We're going to start pulling out all their money,
Right.
And I've sat across from a couple where I had to and these people were taking out, I would say $80,000, right? And the protocol is like, hey, well, we can't give it to you today. First of all, banks don't carry a lot of cash in their back like everyone thinks. But it was like, okay, you're gonna have to come back tomorrow. And we're getting annoyed, but we're just like, is everything okay? Are y'all make sure they're not getting held hostage, someone at the house or whatever.
Right. Not ransom.
And then the guy was like, oh, I just hate this new president's coming in. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. And he's like, we're just going to bury this behind our mattress and no one's ever going to have it. I'm like, but I mean, I have a lot of friends that do self-employed stuff too, And man, they always seem to have some cash somewhere. So, it's having cash isn't as uncommon as it seems, but when you are trying to buy something, you do got to season that money, man. It's got to sit in the account.
I've got to take, every year. But I mean, look, we have to go in and we have to do our continuing education every year. And there's always something in there about money laundering. But throughout the year, we still have to take another class that goes over specifically our bank's, money laundering procedures and who you contact to go file a SARS report and all this other stuff. And we still have to go through a compliance component of that. And money laundering is the big one. Yeah. The whole money laundering thing is every year you got to do a compliance component of that. And they want you paying your taxes. That's what it boils down to. So, look, people keep cash. I think look, if you go sell a vehicle or, you sell something and for cash, if you always just kept that cash and kind of accumulated over time, that'd be a good way to do it. I don't know though. There's, honestly, I don't, cash doesn't work when you're trying to borrow money.
No,
it doesn't work.
Nope.
It does not work. It's not, they don't like it.
I've had people want to see if they could just bring cash to a closing. You can't bring, $140,000 in cash and hand it to the title company. You can't do that. You should
be able to, I think, but I get it. I guess,
benefits to
benefits. Don't we get off in the whole discussion about taxes and how we feel about taxes, but cash isn't good. So, I've never had anybody tell me something that killed a deal. Let's put it that way. I've had them tell me stuff that could kill a deal. Yeah. We figure out a way to fix it. I would rather them tell me because if they don't tell me, I can't figure out how to make that deal work.
That's one thing that they don't understand is that, man, there is a line of communication that, you can't tell me everything financially when it comes to stuff, but you have your lender, talk to your lender, man. A good lender will get you through it because they want to get paid too. And it's not they want to get paid. I mean, yes, they're getting paid for it. They also want to get you into that house. That's what your job is, how you built your business on. It's how you built its reputation for how many years now, Ty?
Yeah, 23 years. Yeah, I think people think if they hide stuff from you, you're not, they can hide stuff from you that they might feel like might be detrimental to them getting a loan.
Or embarrassing.
But if there's no way to hide stuff from underwriting anymore.
No.
It's forensic. Mm-hmm. I mean, they dig deep. So if you tell me about it, I'm the person, they don't understand that sometimes. They might think, well, if I tell him, I'm not going to get the loan. You tell me, I'm going to tell you how we can work around it. If we can. Yeah. We can't work around every single thing.
You can't work around everything.
But most of the stuff we can. So if you tell me, then I can get it. I can help you. I mean, typically it might mean that it takes a little bit longer. It might mean that, hey,
might have to buy a different house.
We might have to season that money or, what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And whatever it might be. But it's, and it's, we do everything compliant and everything else, but there's ways to make things work and there's ways, to kill stuff. So
and if you don't, just be open with your lender, man. I try to explain that so much. and it's just for me, like, man, if there's something going on, like in a house or whatever, like I rather you tell me what's going on when I'm listing a house.
Oh yeah.
So I know, man, this is a way that we can figure this out. Like, okay, let's go get this inspected. Let's make sure this is not an issue now. So when they come do an inspection, they're going to find it, you know, or,
Absolutely.
you know, like there's just so much stuff that people just feel like they don't want to tell us, but it doesn't do any good. Like, man, and I hate when people like, one of their agents, they don't call and tell you like, oh, by the way, my seller, you know, is something just happened, or my buyer, you know, lost his job, you know, like just tell me up front what's going on, and then I can try to figure out a way around it, you know? Like there's plenty of times that I've had to like say, look, your lender is not doing a good job. Let me give it to one of my few lenders that I trust, and we'll get the deal done. And they get the deal done.
Yeah. Well, it's like this. If you're a seller, if you're a listing agent and you're a seller, do you want to know, you know, hey, you're closing on the 30th. You want to know on the 29th that we're not closing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or do you want to know on the 20th when I know the problem?
Yeah.
And I want to, so I might call you up and go, hey, and I've had this conversation hundreds of times with agents. Look, we ran into this. I need another week. So I'm telling you, you're the listing agent. Can you go back and get us another week, you know, from the seller? Oh, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Okay. So they're just not going to sell the house. Like if we need another week, I mean, that's not reasonable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, can we just try to get it done by this time? I'm telling you right now, it ain't going to happen. So if you hold this information and then you wait till the very end and then you tell them, and then
They're going to be pissed.
They're going to be pissed. And then they're going to have their movers moving their stuff. They're going to be trying to get in their new. It's like, if I tell you a week ahead and I got to bite the bullet and just go ahead and tell you, you know, it's just a way smoother transaction than like trying to just force it to happen in that period of time. Now, look, if there's a way to get it there on time, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But there's times where things just, you know, look, like,
Man,
it's just not going to happen. I'm going to tell you as soon as I feel that, or I'm going to at least give you a heads up. Like, we might need an extension at the end. I want you to go ahead and just get your sellers prepared for it. So, because I, as a seller, would want to know, because I'm making plans. I'm probably moving to another house.
I'm trying to get out. Yeah.
You know,
and you're taking time off work a lot of times, you know, all these other things.
And they're getting people to come help them, and they got
movers,
family, friends, mom, dad, you know, people get help and stuff. And if it doesn't happen that weekend, they got all these people lined up. It's a big letdown. And it's like, hey, but if you give them a week ahead, they're like, oh, well, hey, this happened. Let's plan on this next week. People appreciate that. But there's also something to be said, meeting deadlines and making things happen on time. So it's important. We've got to do that. I'm not saying like, hey, let's just willy-nilly.
No, you're not trying to ask for 2 weeks for no reason.
But yeah, man, but I think communication in this industry is the biggest piece that makes everything. Well, it's what makes things go smooth. Yeah. Communication does. When there's no communication on you get a lender that doesn't talk to anybody, or you can't get a hold of them or whatever. I mean, you're just you're blind. You're walking through the transaction blind, right? It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. Yeah.
No, I've been in those with like, you know, I've had buyers that used, you know, random big whatever lenders, and you don't get to hear from like, oh, you didn't order the appraisal? Like, we're supposed to close in a week, you know, like those type of things. And people lose their earnest money, or lose their option money, and they don't buy a house, you know?
No. If it doesn't work out that first time, it leaves a bad, they're probably not going to come back to it. A lot of times. Yeah.
And even if they would, they're not going to come back to me, and they're not going to come back to that same lender for obvious reasons, but they're not going to come back to me because they're embarrassed that it fell apart. And they've told me before, like, oh, we're really sorry. We wasted all your time. Yeah. But I'm like, man, you didn't waste my time. Let's go do it again.
Let's go do it again. Make up for it.
Yeah, let's go do it again.
Yeah.
All right, man. Any underused loan programs or assistant buyers should be asking about?
So, yeah, this one, I'm going to say a weird answer here that maybe y'all wouldn't be typical. I think right now there's a market for manufactured homes.
Really?
Yeah. So, brand new construct.
Because loans on those other ones suck.
Well, let's say you've got a buyer let's say they want to live in Manville, Santa Fe, Alvin, and let's say they want an acre and they want to buy a house. What's an acre over there typically?
Depends what part of you're in, but
let's just say let's say it's $500,000.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, close. Right. Somewhere in that range. So we have a program, and it can be done through USDA, which is zero money down, or FHA, and they're one-time closed construction loans. So you can literally find a lot, okay, go to a dealership, pick out your home, finance all the costs to set it up, everything, move the house there, pour the pylons that got to be done properly for FHA up front, septic, pour a driveway, you put a little carport in, hook up utilities, plumbing, electrical. You might even have to get a well. Typically it may or may not work well on a well because wells are getting more expensive to put in. But, and then, finance a brand new, or even maybe a very well-maintained, recent, not, a few years old manufactured home.
Yeah.
And you can do all that with zero money out of pocket on a USDA loan and only 3.5% out of pocket on an FHA loan. We treat it like a construction loan but you don't have a 9-month construction period on a manufactured
loan. You can get in pretty quick.
Loan, get in pretty quick. And now, hey, if I'm a young first-time buyer, well, hey, now I own 2 acres in, in Alvin, okay, or Santa Fe or whatever. And, those prices, I feel like those markets are only going to go up with 99 coming around and everything. Mm-hmm. And hey, now I'm in this house for 300 or 350. Okay, I live in this thing for 20 years, and now I can go. Now I'm older. I'm
go build my house.
Build my house on
it. And have your same land.
Yeah, and have your same
land. That's a
good idea. Yeah. And a lot of times you can walk into those after the appraisal comes back and everything. I've seen those where you can literally walk into them with the manufactured home and everything there and what they appraise at. If you go look at a manufactured home sitting on that land. On the same acreage or whatever those things might be selling or appraising for $350,000, $400,000. You can get that whole thing done for $325,000. So you're walking into that deal with equity. And there's a market for it. Now, from an agent's perspective, the problem I see are those manufactured home dealerships going to pay you if you bring them somebody? I don't know. They might pay you the same, but you definitely get paid on the land. Yeah. On the land deals. Mm-hmm. But that's one I'm seeing underutilized right now. Yeah. In a market where it's for the person though that wants to get out of the city a little bit. They want to live on a little land, a half acre, whatever, and they want something affordable that they own. Dogs. Yeah. So they don't like the idea.
Yeah, they're not USDA fans.
Or maybe they're like, let's go. Get some land.
They want some land.
They want some land.
My eyes twitching right now.
Yeah. Well, man, Ty,
I hope that didn't mess it up too bad, but I think they liked it. I think they
want you to go buy some land, Mike.
Yeah. So.
Look, they stopped talking they stopped barking when we stopped talking about it. All right. Well, Ty, man, we thank you for coming in, man.
Yeah, dude, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate you guys having me. I think we can.
You want to plug your podcast you got going on now? I mean, what do you got? You want to plug real quick?
Look, my podcast is.
Typically,
agents. Like I like to do is have. I don't. It's. Hey, look, it's just the modern mortgage guy. Yeah. It's very simple. It's very whatever. But, I like to have agents on and talk about how they work with buyers and sellers. And I like to have agents on that will educate people about a certain part of town. So, I think people are looking on social media, especially YouTube, for information. So if I'm starting to buy a house, how would I make a determination of what agent I'm going to use? Well, I mean, I would go look at information about what that agent knows. Yeah. And so I think that if you have what they would call, I would call it a micro niche. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys were to get in the car and go to several different new subdivisions and film, hey, this is what this looks like. This is what, there's what the school, hey, here's all this stuff. And you post that stuff. I think that's good information for people. And I try to find agents that can provide some good information for buyers and sellers. And then, I like to get in a conversation with them. And then we do just like you guys do. Nobody sits down and watches it. I would be surprised if one person watches this whole episode.
Willie Stewart.
Willie might.
I will.
But
I'll let it play well.
But
downstairs.
The idea here is to create. Now we could both literally sit down and probably have this edited, whether we did it ourselves, had someone do it, use software, Opus Clips, whatever. You break this up into 30, 40. we got an hour here of content that we can break up. Now I've got, you guys let me use it,
Absolutely.
y'all use it, and now hey, I've got 2 months worth of posts every day that I can schedule to go out. That's just something of us having a conversation. It doesn't matter. You're just there. You're present. Yeah. And we might catch a couple of clips that people really find interesting and want to debate about. I guarantee you the soccer stuff will probably have some more people looking at that than anything else.
The shark one is real big. Yeah. Ryan Hayslip was talking about surfing with Mike, and anything that mentioned shark. We had a guy from Florida on, and he was talking about sharks. Those like are big right now. We're like, oh wow, 3,000 views on just talking about like swimming next to a shark.
Well, hey, they pulled that 13-foot alligator out of Nassau Bay, which is right there at Clear Creek.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we were wake surfing there last night, and I mean, look, we've never once thought about alligators. But I can tell you right now, whether it's me, Charlie, Jimbo, or Jimbo's son Reed, when we were, I think every one of us, we were out there. When we fell down, we were like,
looking
I know
around.
I was kind of like looking over, like, I mean, like, because they pulled a big alligator out of there there, man. And so I mean, there's not, you don't have people getting attacked by, but they did find that lady over there that had gotten eaten by alligator. I think her husband threw her off in the bayou over there, and that's what happened. I don't think she actually got attacked by an alligator, but you do see it in Florida a lot.
Oh, that dude said like in Florida, like we see them in the pools all the time, iguanas and roofs and stuff. And he's just like, that's common.
Yeah. Well, the iguanas is a problem. That's invasive. But yeah. So I would think sharks. Why is there so many more shark attacks now than what there was before? Is it just because there's more people in the water? What was Ryan saying about it? I missed the episode. I'm going to go back and look at it.
Yeah, I don't think they were talking about surfing in general and how it's just been happening.
Right.
Me and Brent surfing at 2:00 in the morning. Doing dumb shit when we're young.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Who knows? That's a whole other.
Maybe we can find a few clips that get a couple thousand views. That'd be good.
Yeah, we will. Definitely, for sure.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ty.
Yes, sir.
Yay.
Yay.